catch me if I fall.
A very good evening and welcome to our first of two nights of Carabao Cup action from round 2. 50 ties, so 115 goals in the first round. Anything of the same would make it absolutely incredible in round 2. 18 ties for you tonight. We'll keep an eye on all 18 for you throughout the evening. Plus, our focus game is at St Andrews as League One Birmingham take on Premier League Fulham. Of course, 13 Premier League sides joining us at this round, along with all of those that progress from round 1 from the EFL clubs. Some big matchups coming over the next 24 hours or so in tonight's games and tomorrow night as well. 25 ties in total, 18 tonight, 7 tomorrow, plus the third round draw as well coming tomorrow. As I said, our focus game tonight, Birmingham against Fulham, kicks off at 8 o'clock this evening, so about 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes to go. Whereas the majority of our games, 16 of our 18 ties tonight, already underway, 7:45 kickoffs. As you can see, all the scores are of our selected fixtures on your screen. 9 of our 11 selected fixtures are underway. As I said, Birmingham Fulham at 8 and Crystal Palace against Norwich as well as another one of our focus games. But first, tonight we start with what a lot of the clubs and teams are doing around the grounds here this evening before they got underway, is to remember a man who loved football. Sven-Göran Eriksson died yesterday after a long-term illness of terminal cancer at the age of 76, and everyone at LFS wishes his family and friends all our condolences this evening. Of course, remembering Sven-Göran Eriksson. To the football tonight then, and we already have some early goals to tell you about as well from those 7:45s. Let's just run you through all of tonight's fixtures along with our selected fixtures as well. It was a 7:15 kickoff at the Riverside Stadium as an all-championship battle as Middlesbrough take on Stoke. Stoke are leading that one by a goal to nil. Emre Tezgel scored the goal. Lewis Kumas, on loan from Liverpool, set up that one to give Stoke the lead. It is Middlesbrough 0, Stoke 1. Of course, Middlesbrough, who beat Leeds United in round 1, who got to the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. Middlesbrough last season, to be beaten in that semi-final by Chelsea. Of the 7:45 kickoffs then, Barnsley take on Sheffield United in that tie as League One Barnsley take on Championship Sheffield United. Sheffield United, who we watched in round 1, beat Wrexham of League 2. League 1, apologies. So another League 1 battle for Sheffield United, but not at Bramall Lane. This time they head away. Barrow welcome Derby in their tie. Blackburn take on Blackpool. Crawley head to Brighton. Brighton 2 wins from 2 to start the new Premier League season under Fabian Hurtzler, and they welcome Crawley to the Amex Stadium. Coventry and Oxford meet up again. They did meet up in the Championship a few weeks ago. Coventry emerging victorious in that one. Can Oxford get their revenge tonight and knock Coventry out of the second round of the Cup? We'll keep an eye on that one. Also, the first one of our big ties to look forward to tonight. Everton under pressure. Sean Dyche. Everton made the worst start to a top-flight campaign at the weekend, losing 4-0 to Tottenham, meaning they have conceded 7 goals without scoring a single goal in their first 2 Premier League games of the season. They take on Doncaster, who they beat in round 2 last year in a reverse fixture. Doncaster were the home side then, but Goodison Park is the venue tonight, and if Everton are to go out, this would be the last ever Carabao Cup tie or League Cup tie at the historic Goodison, of course, with it being the last season at Goodison. That's underway, but Sean Dyche has named a strong side. We'll get to the teams in that one in a moment. Fleetwood take on Rotherham. Rotherham already find themselves 1-0 up. Jimmy McCart with the goal in the second minute to give Rotherham the lead. Grimsby take on Sheffield Wednesday. Preston head to Harrogate Town. Leicester, winless in the new Premier League season after being promoted, they take on League 2 Tranmere Rovers at the King Power Stadium. Millwall welcome Leyton Orient to the Den. Luton head to QPR, and these two sides face each other on Friday night. You can listen to that live Watchalong commentary on LFS from Kenilworth Road on Friday night. QPR against Luton there this evening. Shrewsbury take on Bolton. Huddersfield held to Walsall. And Watford, who had a comfortable home victory in the first round, 5-0 winners against MK Dons. They take on of course, Wayne Rooney's Plymouth. Tom Cleverley and Wayne Rooney, former teammates at Manchester United, but in opposing dugouts tonight for their respective clubs. Watford, who've made an incredible start to the new Championship season, 3 wins from 3. Plymouth without a win in the new season under Wayne Rooney. Their only win coming in the first round of the Carabao Cup, in which they progress to this round. And then the 2 8 o'clock kickoffs. Birmingham welcome Fulham, and Norwich head to Sellers Park and Crystal Palace. Right, those are tonight's fixtures, tonight's ties. Let's get you some news. We're going to get the team news from St Andrews between Birmingham and Fulham very, very shortly for you, so don't worry about that so far. But let's first get to Goodison Park. Of course, Everton, a big story. One of the biggest sides in action tonight. Of course, a few Premier League sides involved in action tonight. Fulham, Crystal Palace, Leicester, Everton and Brighton. 5 of those 13 Premier League sides that have entered in this round are in action this evening. We'll keep an eye on all of those. But Everton, of course, are the big talking point. They start with Jordan Pickford in goal. Seamus Coleman, of course, the very senior Seamus Coleman at right back, who captains Everton tonight. Michael Keane. Jake O'Brien gets his first start at centre back alongside Vitaly Mikalenko in the defence. Tim Irabunum, who started in midfield, joined from Aston Villa in the summer. He's in midfield tonight alongside James Garner, who returns from injury. Iliman Ndiaye gets his first start after joining in the summer. Jasper Lindstrom as well also makes his first start alongside Dwight McNeil on opposite sides. And Beto, who scored his first Everton goal in this exact tie last year, he starts up front for the Toffees this evening. So we'll keep an eye on that one throughout the evening, of course, as well as our other selected fixtures and every fixture here this evening. Plus, we have Champions League playoff action. Of course, the Champions League new formatted draw is on Thursday. We'll be watching RB Salzburg take on Dinamo Kyiv and the other 2 ties as well in the playoff rounds tonight. Galatasaray against Young Boys and Sparta Prague against Malmö. Right, let's keep an eye elsewhere. As I said, only 2 goals so far. Rotherham and Stoke both leading away at Middlesbrough and Fleetwood respectively at this moment in time. And we'll get kick-off from St Andrews, where Birmingham take on Fulham very, very shortly. But first, let's get the team news for this one then this evening. Birmingham against Fulham. League 1 Birmingham taking on Premier League Fulham. Of course, another one of our semi-finalists from last season. Fulham were beaten by eventual winners Liverpool in the 2-legged semi-finals. And these are the teams that both Chris Davies and Marco Silva have named. So Birmingham name Ryan Alsop in goal. Ethan Laird, Christoph Klerer, Christian Bielik, who captains the side, and Alex Cochrane make up the defence. Song Ho Pike and Mark Leonard, the defensive midfield too. Willem Thor Williamson starts in an attacking 10 role. Keshi Anderson off the right, Emil Hansen off the left, and Alfie May leads the line for Birmingham City this evening. On the bench for Chris Davis is Northern Ireland international goalkeeper Bailey Peacock Farrell, Sampstead, Ben Davis, Hall, Kella Miyoshi, Jukiewicz, Yokoyama and Tyler Roberts, of course the former Leeds man. There for Fulham, Marco Silva's side, Stephen Benda starts in goal. Timothy Castagna, Jorge Cuenca, Joachim Andersen and Ryan Sessegnon make up the defence. Harrison Reid and Sander Berger are in midfield, with Tom Kearney in the 10. Harry Wilson off the right. Jay Stansfield, formerly of Birmingham City, starts at left wing, and Raul Jimenez starts up front for Fulham this evening. Of course, this would be an upset if League 1 Birmingham were to progress, of course. In this one, Birmingham, who did progress in the first round, with a 1-0 win away at also League One, Charlton, with that wonderful goal that sealed the deal. Just one goal for them, and Brendan Kella, who scored that wonderful goal. Who finds himself on the bench tonight. So he'll have a chance at some point, surely, but not from the start, to try and make a similar impact as he did in the first round. So those are the teams. Kick-off, as I mentioned, about 5 minutes away. Also, you won't need to rely upon me every single time that you need to see a goal. I will update on big key goals throughout the evening, but we will have a video printer at the bottom of your screen when we show the match map to show you all the goals. Speaking of goals, we do have another one to tell you about. QPR against Luton, that old championship tie this evening. These two play each other at Kenilworth Road in the championship on Friday night, and QPR have taken the lead in that one. Let me tell you, QPR are leading by a 1-0. So we're going to have topsy-turvy night of football. It's been a very dramatic first round. As I said, 115 goals over the two nights in the first round, and the second round is bound to be even more exciting, with more jeopardy on the line with the 13 Premier League sides involved. There's one or two all Premier League ties, but for the vast majority of them, they will have opposition lower down the divisions to face. And Fulham, a side who will face team 2 divisions below them at St Andrews this evening. All the scores of our selected fixtures down the left hand side of your screen. The video printer is here at the bottom of your screen to get the latest score. On the right hand side we'll have live stats. There's the teams as well on the right hand side. And kick-off at St Andrews between Birmingham and Fulham as the second round of the Carabao Cup gets underway. That's next.
Catch me if I fall.
Welcome back to Carabao Cup Live. The second round about to get underway in our 8 o'clock kickoffs this evening. Also an 8 o'clock kickoff, as I already mentioned, the Champions League playoff rounds. We've picked one of the three ties tonight at random, and RB Salzburg and Dynamo Kyiv was picked. Dynamo Kyiv, who put Rangers out in the previous round, they found themselves 2-0 down against RB Salzburg. And Salzburg with a chance to go through to the main stage of the Champions League. Of course, I keep trying to say group stage, but of course we need to get rid of that. Of course, with there no group stages anymore in the Champions League, and they will want to qualify for that. We will update you as and when anything happens in that, along with all of the Champions League playoff ties this evening. Right, here to St Andrews, and we're about to get underway. As I mentioned, everywhere else around the grounds have had their minute's applause or minute silence to remember the great football man Sven-Göran Eriksson, the first England manager of foreign nationality, of course, the first non-English England national team manager. Of course, had a big impact on a couple of the managers tonight. Wayne Rooney, of course, and Michael Carrick, of course, the Middlesbrough manager as well, amongst many others, and touched many footballing hearts. His last managerial job, whether it be official or not, was in a charity game at Anfield of his beloved Liverpool, which he supported all his days, and he got the chance to manage at Anfield for that charity game back in March. One of his long life wishes to manage at Anfield, and we remember Sven-Göran Eriksson incredibly well, and what a great man that football and the whole world has lost. As that moment's applause comes to an end, We are ready to get underway here at St Andrews then for this tie. Of course, as always in the Carabao Cup this season, no extra time. If we're level after 90 minutes, straight to penalties. There might be some shootouts to come tonight. As we get ready to get underway, Birmingham in their blue and white home strip, Fulham in their home strip as well of white white tops and black shorts with little red ribbons or little red bands around their shorts this evening. So no kit clashes tonight. As we get underway then for this one, and one to really look forward to. Two teams that, you know, have a lot to prove. Birmingham would love to get a cup set, would love to kind of knock out a Premier League side, but a Fulham side who, I mean, it would be unrealistic to claim that it would be a non-optimistic idea of getting to the semi-finals again. A very good cup run last season. They would love to replicate it, and it starts with a tough game away from home in the early rounds. Here's Sessegnon. First attack for Fulham as his cross is easily cleared away by the Birmingham defence. One back though by Sessegnon, battling with Ethan Laird back there. And Laird does really well to hold him off and wins a free kick there off Jay Stansfield, does Ethan Laird for Birmingham. Goals are flying in everywhere at the moment. All of a sudden, you see the latest goals going along the bottom of your screen, but lots to get to at the moment. Fleetwood and Rotherham. Fleetwood have found a leveller. Harrogate find themselves 1-0 down in that one so far. So Harrogate find themselves 1-0 down. Preston, with their new manager Paul Heckingbottom, Sam Greenwood has given Preston the lead in that one. Also Millwall against Leyton Orient. Leyton Orient find themselves 1-0 up. Daniel Aggie has given Leyton Orient the lead. League 1 Leyton Orient against Championship Millwall. QPR have been had the lead, but Zach Nelson has levelled things for Luton, so it is 1-1 there at Loftus Road. And Huddersfield have taken the lead against Walsall. It is Walsall 0, Huddersfield 1. Josh Koroma with the goal, and Watford as well. It didn't take long for Watford to take the lead. Mileta Rajovic has given Watford the lead against Plymouth in that all-championship tie. Right, we'll be swapping through to give you the latest goals and the latest updates from around the grounds throughout the night, of course. But we'll try and keep as much focus on our key game as possible here at St Andrews, as much as we possibly can. But with the amount of ties, it's going to be not an easy task to keep that, but that's the job that I'm here to do this evening. As Laird tries to play it down the right hand side, well closed off that time by Harrison Reid. With a long ball, sees Birmingham back in possession. Christian Bielik finds Cochrane, who plays a nice ball down the left hand side. One for Williamson to chase, drags Joachim Andersen out to that left hand side. Now Leonard to Pike. Now to the right hand side it comes. Ethan Laird breaking down the right hand side, looking for an option in and around the box. Laird chips it round the corner, cleared away by Fulham, but Clara is there to pick it up again. Back to Laird, who lifts one into the box, but Joachim Andersen there to clear his lines, and it goes out for a Birmingham throw. A good start from the home side. The League One side starting to get into that groove and have a bit of early possession to put Fulham on the back foot. A couple of their new players involved tonight, of course. Joachim Andersen for Fulham, joined from Crystal Palace, of course, as Alfie May tries to make something in the box, but it goes well wide. Goal at Sellers Park to tell you about in our 8 o'clock kickoff. And you can guess what way it's gone. It is the Premier League and home side that have taken the lead, and it's Oliver Glasner's Crystal Palace that lead against Championship Norwich. Daichi Kamada has scored the goal, set up by Jean-Philippe Mateta. Of course, Palace looking to get a bit of positivity around the club at the moment after 2 defeats in 2 to start the new Premier League season. Crystal Palace leading Norwich by 1-0. And that Champions League game, by the way, is also underway in the Champions League playoff round. Here's Allsop. Pike. Well closed down by Fulham as Reid linking up well. Here's Stansfield. Tried to find a way through, but again that wall of blue bodies got in his way. And Birmingham win the ball back. Here's Sung-Ho Pike. Back to Clara. Pike again, out to Laird. Certainly trying to play it from the back early doors, Birmingham. Not afraid to take on the mighty Premier League Fulham at this moment. Of course, Fulham did have a very good run in the competition, as I've already mentioned a few times last season, getting to the semi-finals and could have got to their first ever League Cup final at Fulham if they had have put out eventual winners, Liverpool of course. But Fulham did have a good run in the Carabao Cup, and they'll be hoping to replicate it. But Marco Silva's been under a bit of pressure in pre-season, in a sense. Not similarly in the Premier League season, because both games so far for Fulham haven't been awful. 1 win and 1 defeat. That one defeat coming in the opening game away at Old Trafford, but then winning at home against Leicester 2-1 at the weekend. It was under some strange pressure before the season started, and it was something that, for me, I thought was a bit strange. I was part of that, thought that Fulham didn't really show very much, but from what we've seen so far in the season, they've been pretty decent. We'll talk about their run in a moment, as Birmingham have a free kick here on the left-hand side. Ready to take it. Right-footed delivery into the box, cleared away quite comfortably there as Anderson just tries to recycle the ball as it comes all the way back to Ryan Alsop. At the moment, there is a penalty at Ewood Park to tell you about in a very short moment. We'll get there in a second, as Birmingham again pushing up the field, and they're really not afraid to take it to Fulham in these early moments. Here's Alfie May coming deeper. Look at the lift it over the top for the runner, and Anderson just couldn't reach it. Keshi Anderson made a good run in behind, and the ball by Alfie May was perfect. It just maybe went a bit too early. Anderson just offside, just by the narrowest of margins. Anderson played taken offside by the last man, Anderson. Joachim Anderson was the last man there for Fulham, but Keshi Anderson couldn't hold his run, and Alfie May's ball goes to waste. But it was a decent effort and a decent start for the home side. I said there was a penalty at Ewood Park, and I can tell you that it is the home side Blackburn Rovers that have scored it and have taken the lead, and it is Maktar Gay who has given Blackburn the lead. Had a good run of goal scoring in the first round as well in Blackburn's comfortable victory against Stockport in the first round. 6-1 winners. Maktar Gay scored in that, and he's made it 2 from 2 in both rounds of the Carabao Cup so far. It is Blackburn 1, Blackpool 0. There is a goal as well in one of our focus games that I might have missed. I do apologise. There are so many. Grimsby have taken the lead against Sheffield Wednesday. I do apologise for missing that one. Cameron McJanet has given Grimsby the lead against Sheffield Wednesday. Of course, Grimsby of League 2 taking on the Championship Sheffield Wednesday, and that would be a big cup set, and that is a big goal for Grimsby, who lead. As Fulham playing around the box. The shot from Kearney is well charged down, and the referee has given a penalty, I think. He has. The referee's given a penalty. I think everybody's bemused by this decision, but Keith Stride, the referee this evening, pointed right to the spot. We see this again. Tom Kearney takes the strike, edge of the box, and it does come off the hand of Alex Cochrane. I think that's very harsh. Of course, no VAR at this stage of the competition, but is he in the box as well? That's another question. He is in the box, and it does hit his hand, and the referee deemed that a penalty. So we have a penalty here, and Alex Cochrane can probably feel a bit hard done by. It was a bit harsh, but the referee's decision will stand. Of course, no VAR in this round, and it is now the time for Raul Jimenez to give Fulham a chance to take the lead. They've been on the back foot for the majority of the first 9 minutes, and they've been given a golden opportunity. Premier League Fulham against League One Birmingham. Raul Jimenez on the spot. Whistle goes. Jimenez with a run up. Right-footed strike is into the bottom left corner. And Fulham take the lead. Maybe a bit of a gift, but Fulham will not care. Birmingham will feel it was very, very harsh and that they shouldn't have conceded a penalty there. But handball was quite clear according to the referee's viewpoint. And it's a good penalty by Raul Jimenez. Cool, calm, collected. Waited for the keeper to move. Done that little hop and skip. And sent the ball into the far opposite corner, of which the goalkeeper, Ran Alsop, was diving. It's a perfect start for Fulham. Maybe a bit of a lucky start. But when you get your opportunities and slices of luck in games, you certainly have to take it. And Fulham have. It is Birmingham 0, Fulham 1. And that will mean be much harder for Birmingham now, with them finding themselves behind. But I don't think their game plan changes too much at 1-0. Getting an equaliser, could set up a penalty shootout a bit later in the game if they can hold it that long. But scoring early can be a blessing, but also a curse for Fulham if they can't find a second and maybe take the game away from Birmingham. But that's all to be decided as the game continues. But a good penalty taken by Raul Jimenez, of course, who hasn't been lighting it up in front of goals since joining Fulham. Last season in the Premier League, he made 24 appearances, Raul Jimenez, 18 starts, scored 7 goals in the Premier League last season. Made 4 appearances in the Carabao Cup last season without a single goal or assist in his 4 games, including both semi-final ties as well for Jimenez in the Cup. So he's got his first Cup goal at Fulham, and his first of this season at Fulham. Indeed. So it is Birmingham 0, Fulham 1. We'll see how the game progresses. I expect Fulham to take a bit more control, a bit more kind of dominance in the game, and maybe try to control the possession a bit more. Birmingham have had over 60% possession in the first 12 minutes, so certainly one for Fulham to improve on in these early moments, as we know what Marco Silva is all about and what he wants from his team. And we have a goal in the Champions League, and it is already tough for Dynamo Kyiv, who find themselves 2-0 down after the first leg against RB Salzburg. Pep Linder's side, the former Liverpool assistant coach, is in charge of RB Salzburg, and his side led 2-0 after the first leg. Well, they have just taken the lead on the night tonight, and it is RB Salzburg 1, Dynamo Kyiv 0, and the goal scorer Adam Dagim has given Salzburg the lead. It's actually the away side that started the better of the two teams, but it is the home side that lead, and they lead by 3-0 on aggregate, 1-0 on the night. So unless a big turnaround from Dynamo Kyiv, it looks like RB Salzburg, the Austrian side, are booking their place in the Champions League main stage. We will see. Birmingham a corner, Cochrane to take, back post headed across and into the hands of Stephen Benda, the Fulham goalkeeper, who could gather comfortably there for the visitors. Certainly as the rounds go on, it will be easier to juggle commentary and all the scores, but I do appreciate your patience and listening in and watching us this evening. It's great to have you with us for this one, as there's another free kick, and Alex Cochrane again involved, this time on Timothy Castagna, and Fulham took that free kick quickly. Don't want to waste too much time. There's a ball over the top here. Stansfield makes it 2. One ball over the top, and the former Birmingham man refuses to celebrate, but I'm sure his smile will not be wiped off his face as Birmingham find themselves 2-0 down, and Fulham could be cruising to the third round, and we've only played 14 minutes. Birmingham 0, Fulham 2. And it's just one ball over the top. It's really poor from Birmingham defensively. The fullback doesn't track his man, and Stansfield has the freedom of the pitch. Lovely ball over the top. He holds his run really, really well, and he just takes it down. The keeper is in no man's land, and he just curls it round the goalkeeper, Ryan Alsop. That's a lovely finish by Jay Stansfield, and Fulham double their lead. Goodness me. I'm sure Birmingham will be looking at themselves and thinking, we have gifted Fulham this lead, and deservedly so. And he doesn't want to celebrate, of course, as I mentioned. His former side was on loan from Fulham to Birmingham, was Jay Stansfield, and he refuses to celebrate against his former side. Birmingham 0, Fulham 2. There we are. There was a bit more jeopardy in our first round match. Certainly no jeopardy at the moment in this one so far, but of course you never know. It is the Carabao Cup, and anything can happen in cup football. Right, some goals to tell you about. Fleetwood have retaken the lead again, or taken the lead for the first time tonight, against Rotherham. Rotherham took the lead through Jimmy McCart after 2 minutes. Ryan Graydon equalised, and he's just got a second to give Fleetwood the lead. Ryan Graydon with a brace sees Fleetwood lead Rotherham by 2-1. Other goals elsewhere to tell you about as well in a Premier League. A game featuring a Premier League side, and it is Brighton, who've started their new season 2 wins from 2 under 31-year-old manager Fabian Hürzeler, the new man in the dugout at the Amex, and tonight he looks to make it 2 from 2 at home as Brighton manager, because Brighton have taken the lead. They face a Crawley side in League 1, who themselves have had a decent start to the campaign. 2 wins from their first 3 league games at Crawley, but were beaten for the first time at the weekend against Wigan, and they find themselves a goal down inside 30 minutes at the Amex. Simon Adingra with that goal. That gives Brighton the lead. I was just reading there this evening, Matt O'Reilly, new signing for Brighton, signed from Celtic for an incredible amount of fee a few days ago, starts tonight but has had to come off the field after just 9 minutes. This is really not a good start to his Brighton career for Matt O'Reilly. Left Celtic, now at Brighton of course, opposite ends of the UK. In a sense, Matt O'Reilly had to go off at just 9 minutes in his Brighton debut this evening, which is not what you want to hear for a new signing, but Matt O'Reilly taken off there through injury, and O'Mahony came on in his place, but it doesn't seem to have affected Brighton so far, because they lead, as I've already said, in this moment so far. So quite a number of goals going in elsewhere. The games that remain 0-0: Barnsley, Sheffield United, Barrow, Derby, Coventry, Oxford, Everton, Doncaster, Leicester, Tranmere, Shrewsbury, Bolton. All the sides games that remain 0-0. 6 of our ties out of 18 are still 0-0. Lots of goals so far this evening. And of course we'll round up all the scores at half-time and at full time as well for you, and we'll get the confirmation of all 18 winners from tonight's ties at the full time whistle. Of course, a few penalty shootouts might be needed tonight, as that's a lovely cross, but goes all the way through past Emil Hansen, who miskicked it. Good cross on the right hand side, low across the box, and that would have been a really good chance for Birmingham. But Emil Hansen just couldn't strike it well. So lovely cutback cross, and he's just waiting to strike it there. Emil Hansen gets it all wrong, completely miskicks it, doesn't get a touch on the ball actually, and misses that one in the end. So Birmingham still threatening early doors here, despite finding themselves 2-0 down. They are still pushing forward. Of course, you could argue they've really nothing to lose, in a sense. They had nothing to lose before the game, because they're coming up against the Premier League side, ultimately, who are expected to win, but in the end, Birmingham feel they've nothing to lose, and why not go for it? So far they have. It's not worked out particularly well for them, but simple errors. A harsh penalty given away, and then just one ball over the top. as Alfie May wins a free kick there off Jorge Cuenca. The Spaniard taking down Alfie May there. Another one of those new signings at Fulham is Jorge Cuenca. And now Fulham have a free kick to defend. Left hand side. If they can reduce this deficit, it will be a fantastic moment for Birmingham. If they could do. Free kick left hand side. Lots of bodies in the box. 6 of them to be exact. Right for the delivery, and it's just over the bar. Tried to go direct for goal there, but just over the bar. I think it might have took a deflection off the goalkeeper as well. It might have got a fingertip to that one. See it again. Yeah, it was going over the bar, and the keeper just fingertipped it. Maybe not necessary, but it was a touch by the keeper, so a corner will be. Cochrane will take right hand side. Goes short. Going for the 1-2. Cochrane now finds Anderson, looks to curl it as that's punched away by Bender this time. Again, Birmingham trying all the tricks, but so far Fulham answering every question they're being asked. Here's May, tried to play it down the line to Laird, wins a throw in, wasting no time in taking it. Here's Alfie May to Leonard, now Pike. Right to the left-hand side, brought down by Hansen. And the cross from Cochrane is again headed away, this time by Cuenca. It's better from Birmingham. Still controlling a lot of possession so far, the home side. Despite that 2-goal deficit that they face at the moment. And here's Laird trying to create things and put another cross in. Takes a deflection. Will be another corner. Good play from Birmingham. Really good play. So, Alex Cochrane, who's taken a couple of these corners, will take this one again and deliver it in this time with the left boot to the back post, and that one seen out all the way by Raul Jimenez. And it will go out for another corner on the opposite side. Yeah, good spot by Raul Jimenez at the back post. Run off his man that he was marking just to stop the ball getting to Hansen at the back post. Another corner. Again taken short by Birmingham. As the shot comes from distance there by Sung-Ho Paik. And it goes well over the bar for a goal kick. But applause from Chris Davis, the Birmingham manager, who can see his side's intent so far. And quality on the ball so far, just not translating onto the scoreline, which is the most important thing at this moment in time. Let's tell you then if there are any more goals. I am watching out for this evening. There has been another goal between Harrogate and Preston. Sam Greenwood gave Preston the lead in that one, and he has just doubled Preston's lead. Sam Greenwood from the penalty spot has made it 2-0 to the visitors at League 2 Harrogate, taking on Championship Preston, and it is 2-0 to the Championship side. Of course, those 7:45s will be coming to half-time very shortly. Of course, starting 15 minutes earlier than us. We're already in the 24th minute of this game. First half's flew by so far in this one. More goals to tell you about. There's goals flying in everywhere at the moment. In another game that involves another of our Premier League sides this evening, and it is Leicester who've made a winless start to the new campaign after their 1-1 draw at home to Tottenham and beaten away at Fulham at the weekend. They're looking to get their first win of the domestic season, and they enter this round, of course, being a Premier League side, in the second round. And their first game against League 2 Tranmere, a new signing, Jordan Ayew, has given them the lead. in that one. 32-year-old Jordan Ayew joined from £5 million from Crystal Palace just 4 days ago. Did Jordan Ayew, and he's already opened his Leicester account. It is Leicester 1, Tranmere Rovers 0 at the King Power Stadium. So we're just waiting on a few games. One game I haven't mentioned in the whole of this first half so far, other than the team news in the first few minutes, is Everton. We'll get to Goodison in a moment. Here's Laird. Pike. Looking to lift it into the box, and the flick on is off the post and cleared away. And now the second shot is just over the bar. I think Castagna cleared that one away. Goodness me, what a chance for Birmingham. Nice work up by Laird and Pike. Pike plays a lovely ball in behind. And I'm trying to see who the runner was. It might have been Keshi Anderson, it was. And he just flicks it. Trying to flick it round. The goalkeeper, Stephen Benda. And it's cleared off the line by Timothy Castagna, who reached round with his right foot. It was going in. Beating the keeper, but it didn't beat Timothy Castagna. And he makes sure that Birmingham didn't get one back. Still 2-0 to the visitors. They're coming closer, the home side, and you can probably not have an argument to say they don't deserve at least a goal in these first few minutes, because they've probably been the better side in the tie so far, despite that 2-goal deficit that they currently have to overcome if they want to progress. Another goal between Harrogate and Preston, and it is just going from bad to worse for League 2 Harrogate. They find themselves 2-0 down. Just 2 minutes after they conceded the second, they've conceded a third, and it is Harrogate 0, Preston North End 3. Militin Osmajic has extended Preston's lead. It is Preston who lead by 3-0. I was mentioning that I would get to Goodison Park. Everton against Doncaster, of course, the same matchup from last season's second round. So far, it's actually been a pretty even matchup in the moments. It's Doncaster that probably had the better of the chances, half chances at that, but the better of the chances. Everton without a shot on target in the first 42 minutes of that game. They are having more possession, but not converting that into chances further up the field. A few new players in the team tonight for Everton. That you could argue that is a possible cause for that. But against the side 2 divisions lower than Everton, who actually took the lead against the Toffees in the tie in the second round last season, it is Everton 0, Doncaster Rovers 0 at the moment, and with a couple of minutes to go in the first half. Into one of our ties that is already deep into the second half at the Riverside Stadium, and it looks like Michael Carrick's side, who had a convincing visiting victory at Elland Road in the first round, might be on the end of a big defeat at home themselves tonight. They face Stoke City this evening, and Stoke are leading by 2-0. Emre Tezgel and Ryan I apologise. Ryan Mai has given Stoke the 2-goal lead, and with around 30 minutes to go, it's more, of course. Still very much a long way to go, but it is Middlesbrough 0, Stoke 2, and Stoke are 2-0 up now. That second goal just came through in the last moment or two. It doesn't look good for Michael Carrick's side, but a long way to go, as I've said. About 30 minutes to go in that one, because they're well into the second half. They kicked off at 7:15 tonight, so that will be our first confirmed result of the evening when that comes through. There's been a red card in one of our games tonight, our first red card of the second round, and it's come at the game between Walsall and Huddersfield. In that one, Walsall went behind against Huddersfield. League 2 Walsall against the League 1 Huddersfield. And Josh Karoma gave Huddersfield the lead, but it is Huddersfield that find themselves down to 10. Matthew Pearson's professional last man foul sees him straight red carded. It is Walsall 0, Huddersfield 1, but the visitors down to 10. So it could be a tough ask for them to sustain that pressure. And we'll see what comes of that a bit later on this evening. Right, back here to St Andrews then. Here's Ryan Sessegnon to Jimenez. The lift into the box to run made in behind, but couldn't find the Fulham player making that run. was Raul Jimenez's cross that found only the hands of Ranul Sop, the Birmingham keeper. We've goal in our Champions League playoff round game. It was Salzburg that led. They lead on aggregate coming into the night 2-0. They had extended that aggregate lead on the night by taking 1-0 scoreline, but it is Dynamo Kyiv that have levelled on the night. Vladislav Vanat has got the Ukrainian side back on terms, so Salzburg 1, Dynamo Kyiv 1, but it is still 3-1 to the home side on aggregate so far. 1-1 on the night, so at the moment Dynamo Kyiv need to win by 2 clear goals on the night to have a chance at getting through. Of course, extra time and penalties will come if that is the case. If they win by 3 clear goals, they will qualify automatically, Kyiv. But any other scoreline than those 2 will see them knocked out. Right. 30 minutes gone here at St Andrews. Birmingham again coming down the left as Cochrane's cross was a good one, but just a bit too close to Stephen Benda in the Fulham goal, and he caught it well. Still pushing Birmingham. It's really impressive to see the fact that they haven't kind of cowered in fear and sat back and kind of tried to damage limitations the situation. After going 2-0 down pretty quickly in the game with Jimenez's penalty and then Stansfield's finish, they've actually continued on the front foot. They've continued to push kind of Fulham back and trying to create chances. A lot of really positive play from the home side. Again, as I said, probably harshly so, but not showing it on the scoreline so far. At this moment in time, half times coming in from our 7:45 kickoffs in the Carabao Cup. One key one is Everton and Doncaster. Everton of the Premier League, Doncaster of League One. It is goalless at the break at Goodison Park. Could the old habits be dying hard for Sean Dyche's side, who are struggling to beat off League One opposition at this moment in time? There are a couple of cup sets on the cards so far. One, of course, is that of Millwall and Leyton Orient. Of course, Championship Millwall against League One Leyton Orient. Leyton Orient leading at the Den at half time. Just gone half time there, and that would be a cup set this evening. That would be a very good cup set. Grimsby of League 2 taking on League 1 Sheffield Wednesday. Championship Sheffield Wednesday, apologies. That one is 1-0 to the home side, Grimsby. That would be a big cup set this evening so far. So those are 2 interesting scorelines. Barrow and Derby is still 0-0. Barrow, of course, of League 2, and Derby County, of course, now of the Championship under Paul Warren, is still goalless. A couple of nervy moments for a few of the Championship sides tonight, and one or two Premier League sides as well. Here's Harry Wilson for Fulham. Going to switch it out to the left hand side. Finds Sessegnon. Back to Reid. Now Sanderberger. Wilson. Fulham just trying to get a bit more possession now. Take a bit more control of this game, which they really failed to have in the first half an hour or so. Marco Silva's side, and that's a poor pass. Very short from Tom Kearney. Birmingham pick it off, but don't go too far forward with it. Just want to recycle the ball for the moment. Cochrane. Back to Bielik. But again, it's a similar diagnosis for Fulham tonight, and that similar idea we've seen in the whole of the game so far. Every time they look to try and show something positive on the ball, they give away a cheap pass or they give away a cheap free kick, as they've just done again. Birmingham are having the better of it in terms of the play of the game, but all that matters in a cup game is who's winning. And what the scoreline is, it doesn't matter how you play. It's all about getting through to the next round, and Fulham at this moment are getting through. But if it continues, there's certainly no certainty that Birmingham can't find their way back into this game. Certainly give Fulham a scare. And the latter stages of this one, as the free kick is taken by Leonard. Finds Laird down the right hand side. Going to take his man one-on-one. And Stansfield battling against him. And Laird, I think, has won a corner here for Birmingham. He has. Goals flying in at the Riverside Stadium. That game well into the second half. I said that it looked really tough for Middlesbrough this evening. Former Kilcarrick side at Riverside, who beat Leeds 3-0 at Elland Road in the first round. A big away win for them. They could be on the edge of a big away win for their opponents tonight, because it's now 4-0 to Stoke City in that one. Lewis Kumas, who set up the first goal for Stoke tonight, he added a third, and they've just scored a fourth to boot as well. And with 25 minutes to go, Middlesbrough could be on the end of a pasting at home in the second round. Considering how impressive they were in the first round, last season's semi-finalists could be dumped out at just the second round this time around. It is Middlesbrough 0, Stoke City 4 at the Riverside Stadium. Very contrasting between the two rounds. Clara, nice ball over the top. Ethan Laird's made the run. He looks to cross it. Maybe just cut it back just too much, and Joachim Andersen was there waiting for it, as now Jimenez wants to come up the other end for Fulham. Off to the left hand side he is. Back he comes to Sessegnon. Again, really nice ball down the line, and Ethan Laird made a really nice run. The cut back just maybe hit too sweetly and too well. It was well closed out by Joachim Andersen, another one of Fulham's new signings, signed from Crystal Palace. Of course, Palace in the market for a centre-back, of course, with Joachim Andersen going out the door. Cross from the right-hand side, and Jimenez made the run, and he looked to strike it, but he miskicked it, which gets a cheer from the home crowd, although Fulham aren't done yet. And Reid's made the run in behind, and the ball is put behind for the corner. For a moment there, it looked like Bielik was putting into his own net, and Timothy Castagne had made that run. Certainly put pressure on the Birmingham defence. Said they weren't done. They recovered it well here at Fulham, and Stansfield played the ball over the top. Cochrane made the defensive header, and it brought Timothy Castagne into the game, made that run, and Bielik did really well to just stretch around the Fulham man to put it out for the corner. But for a moment there, it looked like it was going into his own nets. Great defending though from the Birmingham captain. Fulham with a corner then on the right hand side. They're only their second corner of the night. Consider that. Birmingham have had 6 corners. It's only Fulham's second, with around 8 minutes to go in the first half. A third now would surely put this game to bed, considering it's only the first half, but 2-0 leaves that slight uncertainty, shall we say. Corner delivered in, but the free kick has gone the way of Birmingham before anyone could get a touch on that ball so far. Right, so half-time in our 7:45s. And our other 8 o'clock kickoff sees Premier League Crystal Palace taking on Championship Norwich. Two sides haven't had the greatest starts to their league campaigns. Palace, as I said, beaten in their first 2 league games. Norwich without a win in their first 3 Championship games. 2 draws and 1 defeat. But, of course, didn't make it easy in the first round either of the Carabao Cup. Had to come with a ding-dong battle against Stevenage in that one. They did emerge victorious, 4-3 winners in the end, Norwich, but a very tough task for them. Stevenage made it in that first round. In the second round, not looking much easier at all for Norwich, facing a side a division above them, and Crystal Palace do have that lead. Daichi Kamada with the only goal of that 8 o'clock kickoff this evening. It is Palace 1, Norwich 0. So 3 games underway at the moment, the 2 8 o'clock kickoffs and the very, very early kickoff at 7:15, all underway, all continuing at the moment, I mean, and the other games all half-time, the 7:45 kickoffs. Here's Laird, again closed down, but I think what I'd say, if it is 2-0 at half-time in this one, I wouldn't say Chris Davies would be very disappointed with his side being 2-0 down. There are simple things that they felt they could improve. I mean, the penalty, as I said, probably was a bit harsh from the referee's point of view, but he did see it as a handball, and maybe factually it was, but maybe a bit harsh that the player was sliding out. Again, by the by, the referee gave the penalty. And then Jay Stansfield, one long ball in behind. Other than that, Fulham haven't really created much in the game, and that's easy to say with the fact that they're 2-0 up and say they haven't created much. It's a bit rich, but I do continue with the same idea. I think Birmingham have been the better side so far, edged it slightly in that chance in the way they've played their football tonight, but as I said, cup football is about getting through, and that's all that matters. And at the moment, Fulham will be getting through, and I'm sure that's all that Marco Silva will care about. Of course, they had a tough task in the second round last season. They actually had Premier League opposition that in their first tie last season in the second round of the Carabao Cup was a 1-1 draw against Tottenham at Craven Cottage. They ended up winning 5-3 in penalties to knock out Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham last season. That was Tottenham's only defeat in their first 11 domestic games last season. They were unbeaten in their first 10 league games, but 11 domestic games, and their only defeat was to Fulham in the second rounds. I did say we would talk about Fulham's run in the Carabao Cup, because it was a long run. As I said, semi-finalists, 2 penalty shootouts, 2 close games, and then the 2 semi-finals weren't quite, shall we say, comfortable for Liverpool, the eventual winners of the competition. In the second round, as I said, they beat Tottenham 5-3 in penalties after a 1-1 draw for Fulham in the 90 minutes. In the third round, they beat Norwich 2-1, also at Craven Cottage. Carlos Vinicius and Alex Iwobi with the 2 goals there. Then they beat Ipswich 3-1 at Portman Road in the fourth round of the competition in that one. And then had to beat Everton in the quarter-finals last season. Everton, who got all the way to the quarter-finals, beaten on penalties, 7-6 Fulham won on penalties, before then being beaten at Anfield in the first leg of the semi-final and drawing the second leg, which ultimately led to them going out of the competition. Free kick here for Birmingham, and Keshi Anderson's won Birmingham a free kick here, and this is maybe a bit lucky from Birmingham's point of view. There wasn't much in that challenge, but the referee's given the free kick, and there's a chance for Birmingham to score. We'll get an update from the Riverside in a moment, where there's another goal between Middlesbrough and Stoke. We'll get there in a moment. After this free kick then. So just on the edge of the box, and it looked like Keshi Anderson was kind of taken out on the face maybe, but there's very little in it. This is a great opportunity for Birmingham. A couple of minutes before half-time, getting one back now would be absolutely dreamlike. Mark Leonard and Willem Williamson are over it. It's literally on the edge of the box, just to the right-hand side. Fulham have a 4-man wall. The referee's whistle's gone. It's Williamson who will take and hits the crossbar. Really good strike. Just come cascading off the crossbar. That's come very, very close. Again, Fulham won't be going in at half-time feeling they're comfortable in this one. Birmingham are still a massive threat, and that would have been a huge goal at a very good time for Birmingham if that had just dipped at the last second. He did really well, measured it perfectly, just didn't dip at the last second, and that would have sent it into the net, but just hit the crossbar. As I mentioned, a 5th goal at the Riverside Stadium. It's an absolute pasting indeed, again for Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough against Stoke City. Miljan Manhoff scored the 4th goal for Stoke, and he's added that 5th, set up by Andrew Moran, who's got a hat-trick of assists tonight, Andrew Moran, and he has helped Miljan Manhoff get a brace as well tonight. It is Middlesbrough 0, Stoke City 5 at the Riverside Stadium, and that full-time result will be in about 17 minutes time, so around about when the second half is getting off here at our 8 o'clock. We will have our first result of the evening. There's no doubt as to which way it's going, but we'll have that first result for you a bit later on this evening. As Birmingham come forward again, the dying moments of the first half, they want to add a goal to their first half performance. So far Fulham holding out at the back, and maybe the woodwork also helping out the visitors in a sense as well. The narrowest of margins denying Fulham what would be, or denying Birmingham, sorry, what would be a very good goal at a very good time for them. There's a nice ball down the right hand side. Can Laird keep it in? He does keep it in. This is a chance. Cut back. Anderson wins the corner. Does well. Doesn't want to take the shot. Takes the flick off the Fulham defender. And it will be a corner to Birmingham. Last 30 seconds or so of the first 45 minutes. And this is an opportunity. But Ethan Laird and those overlapping runs down the right hand side all night. It's been very threatening. So far that Fulham defence has not particularly dealt with it well. As Cochrane goes over to take this corner then. On the right hand side. "45 minutes are up. We'll get how long's added on in a moment as Cochrane delivers. Left footed to the back post. Flicked away. Kept alive though on that left flank. To May. Now Leonard. Back it comes though. To Pike. He tries to lift it into the box. Flick on header is chased by Cochrane. Kept in by Cochrane, but couldn't find the pass off to Willemsen. And Fulham clear their lines, but still pressure from Birmingham as we have just a singular minute of added time. And Fulham get a free kick as Harry Wilson goes down under a challenge from Bellick. Free kick to Fulham. And that might just be the final call of the half in a moment or two. I think that looks very close. I think maybe he bought that foul a bit, Harry Wilson. That's probably why Christian Bielik was so frustrated with the referee giving a free kick. Wasn't very much in it, to be honest. And with that free kick being taken, the half-time whistle goes from the referee, who's been hot topic in this first half. But a first half where Fulham can probably feel that they've been a bit lucky to be 2-0 up. Birmingham can feel massively unlucky that they conceded a penalty, and one simple ball over the top saw Jay Stansfield, their former player for Birmingham, giving Fulham an extra advantage in the game. Half-time at St Andrews in the second round of the Carabao Cup. It is Birmingham 0, Fulham 2. Analysis and updates from around the grounds on the way next.
Catch me if I fall.
Welcome back to Carabao Cup Live. Half-time at St Andrews in our second round tie between Birmingham of League One and Premier League Fulham. It is the Premier League side who lead comfortably at the break. On the scoreline, that is. Raul Jimenez, who scored from the penalty spot, and Jay Stansfield, the former Birmingham player, giving Fulham a 2-0 lead at the break. Let's update you from the scores around the grounds from the first half. These are some of those scores. We'll add the other ones, fill in the gaps for you along the way. In a 7:15 kickoff, as I said, entering the last 10 minutes of that one at the Riverside, it is Middlesbrough 0, Stoke City 5. Emery Tezgel gave Stoke the lead in the first half. Ryan May has doubled it. Lewis Kumas added a third before Million Manhoff's brace added a fourth and then a fifth for Stoke. And with just 10 minutes to go, it looks like Stoke are giving Middlesbrough a right doing over at the Riverside so far. The second half should be getting underway from our 7:45s, or are underway at this moment in time. Barnsley of League One taking on Championship Sheffield United, who knocked out Wrexham in the first round. Barnsley, who also progressed themselves, obviously. They got past Wigan on penalties in the first round, and they are drawing 0-0 as the second half gets underway. Also a 0-0 between Barrow and Derby. Barrow of League 2 against Championship Derby County. In that one, at the moment, is still goalless. A lot of half-time changes from Paul Warren. 3 changes at the break. Nathaniel Mendez-Lang, David Ozo and Caden Jackson have all been brought on for Derby. So the big guns coming out for the visitors there to try and overcome League 2 Barrow. Blackburn starting the second half at that one at Ewood Park. It is Blackburn Rovers 1, Blackpool 0. Mac Targay, who scored in the first round, scored from the penalty spot to give Rovers the lead in that one. Premier League Brighton taking on Crawley Town, and Brighton under the new manager, 2 wins from 2 in the Premier League, looking to make it 3 out of 3 domestically. Simon Adingra with the only goal of that first half sees the Seagulls leading. An old championship tie next as Coventry take on Oxford. It is goalless as the second half gets underway there. They met a few weeks ago and Coventry edged it 3-2 in a very tight game. It looks to be another tight game this evening. Speaking of tight, another 0-0 sees at Goodison Park. The last season at Goodison, and if it doesn't go the home side's way tonight, it will be the last ever Carabao Cup tie at Goodison Park. And League 2 Doncaster are the visitors to Everton. League 1 Doncaster, apologies. No, sorry, League 2. Yeah, League 2. I got myself confused. League 2 Doncaster Rovers holding Everton to a 0-0 draw at the moment. The home side have slightly edged it in the last few as the second half gets underway, but Doncaster probably the best of the chances. It is still goalless. Could be tight. A nervy night for those Toffees fans, who have certainly made their disheartening comments known at a Euston train station at the weekend after Everton's 4-0 defeat to Tottenham. Fleetwood leading Rotherham by 2-1, all 3 goals coming in the first half. Jimmy McCart gave the visitors Rotherham the lead before Ryan Graydon's 2 goals got Fleetwood in front, and that is why they lead at the moment. Fleetwood 2, Rotherham 1. Grimsby Town of League 2 taking on Championship Sheffield Wednesday, and it is the home side, the League 2 side, that lead as the second half goes underway. Cameron McJanet gave Grimsby the lead. Sheffield Wednesday have tried their very, very best to respond, but without a shot on target. It looks to be a tough night for Wednesday, although we wouldn't write them off. To a side 2 divisions above their opponents, but they find themselves behind. At the moment, speaking of being behind, it is Harrogate Town that find themselves massively behind against Championship Preston. Preston, who added a fourth just before half-time that we didn't get to tell you about. Sam Greenwood added 2, 1 from the spot and 1 in the 14th minute. Militin Osmajic made it 3 for Preston before Militin Osmajic got his second of the game to make it 4 for Preston, and they look to be cruising through to the third round. Harrogate 0, Preston 4. In our game involving a Premier League side, Premier League against League 2, big parity in their divisions between Leicester and Tranmere, and Jordan Ayus opened his account for Leicester City and has got Leicester leading as the second half gets underway there. They've had 11 shots, Leicester. They probably should be further ahead, but at the moment it is just the 1 goal that they lead by. Millwall could be on the end of an upset tonight if they don't turn this one around against League 1 Leyton Orient. Daniel Aggie has given the visitors the lead there. Millwall trail by 1-0. QPR and Luton, they will face each other in the Championship on Friday night live on LFS. You can listen to that one. And they are keeping a close battle at the moment. QPR 1, Luton Town 1. Everton Santos give QPR the lead before Zach Nelson level things for Luton. Shrewsbury and Bolton was 0-0. Bolton have now taken the lead in that one. We'll get you the goal score for that in a moment, but as Bolton have been pushing for that lead, and that lead they now have. Walsall find themselves 1-0 down against Huddersfield. Walsall of League 2 against League 1 Huddersfield. Josh Karoma gave Huddersfield the lead, but down to 10 through Matthew Pearson's red card sees maybe Walsall have a chance of getting back into the game. Walsall 0, Huddersfield 1. Watford leading Plymouth by a goal to 0. Mileta Rajovic giving Watford the lead there against Wayne Rooney's Plymouth. Sees them 1-0 down into the second half, and then our 2 8 o'clock kickoffs are the same. Goals going in around the grinds, and first let's head to Goodison because there's been a big goal there, and it is maybe a bit of positivity. It's been a very negative start to the season for Everton, who are yet to score a goal domestically. Well, not anymore. They do lead in the first half there, and it is 1-0. In the second half there, sorry. Tim Irabunum, who joined from Aston Villa to Everton, has given the Toffees the lead. Jesper Lindstrom, another one of the new signings, making his debut tonight for Everton. A debut start tonight. He set up that goal, and Irabunum has given Everton the lead. Speaking of Premier League sides at home, Brighton have just doubled their lead against Crawley Town. Jeremy Sarmiento has got a second for the home side there. It is Brighton 2, Crawley Town 0. A breaking of the deadlock between Barnsley and Sheffield United. Sheffield United of the Championship and League 1 Barnsley, and it is the League 1 side that are ahead. Max Waters has given Barnsley the lead in that one. Could a cup set be on there? Could the side who knocked out Wrexham of League 1 in the first round be getting League 1 revenge against them tonight, as Barnsley give themselves the lead as Barnsley 1, Sheffield United 0. Elsewhere, I've seen a couple of other goals. Grimsby, when I read the scoreline out, it was 1-0 to Grimsby. I can now tell you it's drastically changed. It is now 2-1 to Sheffield Wednesday. Ike Ogbo level things before a minute later Jamal Lowe gave Sheffield Wednesday the lead. I said if they didn't turn it around it would be a massive cup set, and they have indeed turned it around for the moment with around 35 minutes to go. It is Grimsby 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2. Leicester of the Premier League. I said they should have had more goals. I mean, I might be cursing all of these smaller sides at this moment in time, because everything I talk about turns to goals at the moment. Leicester City of the Premier League against League 2 Tranmere. I said Leicester should be further ahead. Well, they are further ahead. Jordan Ayew's goal gave them a lead before Steffi Mavridi's penalty doubled things at the King Power Stadium for Leicester. It is Leicester 2, Tranmere Rovers 0. That Bolton score, by the way, was Jordi Osei Tutu, has given Bolton the lead against Shrewsbury at this moment in time. And Walsall against Huddersfield. I said Walsall might have a chance against them and Huddersfield to come back. Well, not at this rate, because Josh Ruffles has just doubled Huddersfield's lead. It is Walsall 0, Huddersfield 2. After 2 minutes earlier, Nathan Lowe for Walsall had the chance to level it from the spot. The keeper saved it, and Huddersfield have gone right up the other end and doubled their lead. It is a curse, to say the very least, for Walsall. They'll be very disappointed with that. The fact they had the chance to level things and they ended up squandering it, and Huddersfield go and make the most of that kind of good moment for them to rescue them in that game. We have one more goal to tell you about just before we go to a quick break before the second half gets underway between Birmingham and Fulham, and that has come in the All Championship tie between Coventry and Oxford. I said it was a close tie between these two a few weeks ago in the Championship. Finished 3-2 to the home side. It looks like the home side are going to be edging it once again. It is Coventry 1, Oxford United 0. That one at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Coventry have started the second half the better side, and they have certainly added that goal, and it looked like a really wonderful goal. I've just seen the replay of it, and it looks like a wonderful effort. I'll get the score for that one when we come back. The second half at St Andrews between Birmingham and Fulham, where Birmingham have work to do if they want to turn this one around, is on the way next. Do stay with us.
Catch me if I fall.
Welcome back to Carabao Cup Live, the second round, the first night of second round ties. 18 ties this evening, one about to come to a close at the Riverside. We'll get you the final score from that one as well. 7 ties to come for you tomorrow night in the second round, including an all-Premier League tie that we'll be watching here between Nottingham Forest and Newcastle United. Sandro Tonali's ban is completed. He will be back in the Newcastle side. Will he be starting tomorrow night for Eddie Howe's team at the City Ground? We'll see tomorrow. 8 o'clock kickoff, plus after the full-time whistle, the third round draw, which there are a few stipulations for, and we'll tell you more about that tomorrow night. Right, the second half is about to get underway at St Andrews. About 30 seconds or so to go, because the players are just coming out for the second half, and some interesting stories to tell you coming through. Of course, during the second half, we'll have all the full-time scores from all of our 7:45 kickoffs that kicked off 15 minutes before us, so they'll be finishing before us, unless they go to a penalty shootout, which is the case. If any game is level after 90 minutes, a penalty shootout is required to decide a winner. No extra time, straight to penalties. I did tell you, I would tell you the Coventry score just before we went to the break. It is Brandon Thomas Asante. Brandon Thomas Asante has given Coventry City the lead there against Oxford in that all-championship tie. As we're back and ready to go, all the players back out on the field, and the referee ready to get us underway then for this second half. And if Birmingham continue in the same vein that they did in the first half, surely they're bound to find something in this second half and could have a chance at finding a way back into it. I said Fulham can feel a bit lucky going in with a 2-goal lead, but it's all about the scoreline. It's all about getting through to the next round. It's not about how you play. It's all about getting through and being in the hat for the next round. And so far, it will be the visitors that are there to be in the next round. In the third round, they needed penalties last year, Fulham, to get to the third round. They'll be hoping with a 2-goal lead they might not. They won't be needing penalties this time round, but you never know. As I said, if Birmingham continue in the same vein in the second half that they played in the first half, surely they should be giving us more in the final third. Of course, they hit the crossbar in that first half. One had one cleared off the line as well. They came very close to getting a goal in that first half. Birmingham, we'll see if they can do it in the second half. Here's Cochrane trying to go into a battle with Wilson, gets past Wilson, nice link up with Hansen. Here is Emil Hansen, again well closed down by Castagna, but one back by Cochrane. The referee was going to play advantage, but he's just given the free kick to Birmingham, which they've taken quickly. Here's Pake to Clara, out to the right hand side for Laird. Bodies arriving in the box for Birmingham. They're waiting for the chance. Laird tries to sneak one across the front post, but it just goes wide. Goal kick to Fulham. Again, good start to the second half for the home side. We need to have a positive start to the half to get the crowd up, get them going again. Give them that belief that if they get the next goal, they can certainly ask Fulham a few questions later in the game and maybe, you never know, find their way back into this one as the game goes on. We do have the first result of the second round. It's not one that I expected to see, but again, as we say, anything can happen in cup football. Middlesbrough destroyed Leeds at Elland Road in the first round. Well, they have just got a taste of their own medicine at the Riverside tonight against fellow Championship side Stoke City. Middlesbrough 0, Stoke City 5 was the final score. An absolute pasting for Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough this evening, who are dumped out of the Cup semi-finalists last year. Well, they've only made it to the second round and no further this year for Middlesbrough. No cup run for them. Laird plays a nice ball to Keshi Anderson. Looks to weave his way through. He's got 3 Fulham bodies on him. Here is Anderson, plays it off now to Leonard. Back out wide it comes to Laird. Now Mark Leonard again. Cochrane. It's to the left hand side now to Hansen. Wants to drive up the left hand side and committed Joachim Anderson across. Won the throw in as Alfie May takes that throw in quickly. Not wanting to waste any time, Birmingham, in moving forward with this. May does well to avoid the challenge, but does end up on the floor because of Harrison Reid's challenge, and he's going to get a yellow card here as well. Is Harrison Reid for kicking the ball away after that free kick was given. The referee just explaining that decision to the Fulham midfielder. I don't think you can have too many complaints, to be honest, for that one. There's no real arguing about that, I would have to say. And Birmingham have another free kick, another chance to whip the ball in. Leonard goes short, across the Pike. Now Anderson, out wide to Laird on the right. Up against Jimenez. Laird looks to get the cross in. Cleared away by Reid. Picked up by Anderson again. Looks to want to go himself here. Cuts it back to Leonard. And a space, good movement from Birmingham. Waiting on the shooting opportunity that didn't come. As now they've won a free kick there, Fulham, in their own half. Kind of eases the pressure their defence has been under since the start of the second half, really. It was, again, really good approach play from Birmingham, but just when they get in the box, they just really can't find an option. And ultimately, it comes crumbling down. But other than that, their approach play has been pretty fantastic. Just lacking those finishes so far, those goals. Otherwise, they could very much be asking quite a number of questions of Fulham here as Wilson made the run in behind. Went down. Wanted a free kick, but the referee says move on, play on. There's nothing involved in that. No real tussle there. Harry Wilson just went to ground, just lost his balance. Here's Hansen. Flicks it onto Willemsen. Willemsen looking to lift it into the box. The cutback is going towards Anderson, but cleared away by Fulham. As Laird tries to beat past Stansfield, but pushed back. There it has to go back to Clearer. And now Bielik. Through the lines to Pike. Now Hansen. Tight marking from Fulham, but Hansen does get his ball off to Willemsen. Really good start to the second half from the home side. Let's get you around the grounds then. For the moment, the second half's underway at Sellers Park between Crystal Palace and Norwich. That second half kicked off just at the last few seconds. It's an 8 o'clock kick-off. Same with this one. Just had more extra time, added time in that first half. So just Palace leading Norwich by a goal to 0. That second half's underway. Walsall have got one back against Huddersfield. They failed from the spots, but Nathan Lowe has made up for it around about 10 minutes later, albeit 2-0 down at the point that he scored. It is 2-1, and there's still hope in this one for Walsall against 10-man Huddersfield with around about 25 minutes to go. Bolton have doubled their lead against Shrewsbury. Dion Charles doubles the lead for Bolton. It is 2-0 there in that one. So a bit of daylight for Bolton in the second half. Both goals coming in the second period to tell you about there. Right, we'll keep you updated with anything changes elsewhere. Just seeing a Fulham chance from a second or two ago. Harry Wilson had an effort from distance, but it was nowhere near the target. Got right jeers from the home crowd. Cochrane. Hansen. Back to Cochrane. Now Bielik. Back to Allsop. A lot more control about Birmingham. Patience indeed, as I say that. Ryan Allsop goes long, trying to find Ethan Laird, and Laird just laboured in an offside position there. Commentator's curse. People say it's only a myth. I'm certain of it. It's a thing. It's a thing. It happens too often for it just to be a coincidence. Things when commentators say things and exactly after it the exact opposite happens. There's no way it's a coincidence. Anyway, here's Berge, sorry. Back to Benda. Now Joachim Andersen. Again, a woeful ball out there from Joachim Andersen straight to Mark Leonard. Birmingham want to take advantage of this. Here's Andersen in the box. Well closed out this time by Cuenca. Still has it though, Andersen. Cross now to Clara. Laird. Andersen. Similar idea from the first half as Pike wins a free kick there for Birmingham. But a loose ball from Fulham just puts them under unnecessary pressure. And a wasted ball. It's just unnecessarily bad from Joachim Andersen. A really good player, but it's just a really weak ball out from the back. And gifting Birmingham possession and gifting them more positivity in the game. At 2-0, you want to kind of dead the opposition and dead the game of any sort of hope of the opponent coming back. But those loose passes, those little kind of glimpses of positivity for Birmingham are going to keep them feeling and believing that they can get back into this game. And certainly on the evidence we've seen from them tonight, have the quality in the side to try and push back against Fulham here. As Cochrane sets the ball down for this free kick for Birmingham. It's got bodies in the box waiting the delivery. Whistle's gone. Cochrane left-footed, trying to go direct, but curls it wide of the left post. Again, it's neither here nor there. It's neither enough pace and power for a shot, and it's just far too much power for a cross. It's neither here nor there, and goes straight out for a goal kick. Gets that right. Could be a very threatening moment there for Birmingham, but ultimately comes to nothing as they win another free kick. Bielik, and the captain, putting himself into a big challenge and winning the free kick quickly. That's nice movement as May just has the heavy touch and Fulham get away with it. As now Stansfield wants to break. Stansfield taken out, and Fulham get the free kick. And to boot, a yellow card going the way of Alfie May, who made that challenge, I believe. I don't know if it is him that makes the challenge. It is. Yeah, it is Alfie May that makes the challenge. Just trying to win the ball back. He lost it in the first place for Birmingham, and just that frustration, wanting to get that desire to win the ball back, just carried him into the challenge there against Jay Stansfield, and Fulham get the free kick, and Alfie May gets a yellow card. We have goals to tell you about from around the grounds in a moment, because that Fulham free kick's gone completely against Birmingham, although they had the breakaway and the referee just stopped the game all of a sudden, because Raul Jimenez is on the ground and holding his face, and the referee is calling the physios on very quickly here. And the Birmingham fans aren't happy with the referee's decision, but if it's a facial injury, a head injury, the obligation is to stop the game instantly. For the referee comes clattering into the back of Mark Leonard there when he's challenged Raul Jimenez, and does get a whack on the face, and he's just getting treatment at the moment for that. The Birmingham fans won't be happy. They'll get a drop ball, but won't be happy. Ultimately, a head injury. The referee has to stop the game. As I was saying, goals to tell you about. Walsall have levelled in that game against Huddersfield. They were 2-0 down. No more. Nathan Lowe has made up for that penalty that was saved. He scored 2 in a matter of 7 minutes to level things. Walsall 2. Huddersfield 2. A cup set could be on there too. 2-2 in that one with less than 20 minutes to go. Elsewhere then, Grimsby against Sheffield Wednesday. Grimsby had led Sheffield Wednesday in that one, League 2, against the Championship side, but it's the Championship side that have turned it all around in the second half. They're comfortably now leading 3-1. They've added a third. Callum Patterson has made it 3-1 to Sheffield Wednesday. Also more comfortable for Premier League Leicester, who at the moment were 2-0 up against Tranmere Rovers. They've been pushing and dominating for more, and they got a third now. Wilfred Ndidi has made it 3. It is Leicester 3, Tranmere Rovers 0. Also a bit more comfortable for Sean Dyche's Everton. Their debutant on the evening, a full debut for Iliman Ndiaye in Everton colours, and it looks like it will be a winning one for Sean Dyche's Everton this evening, who are now 2-0 up against Doncaster Rovers. So it is Iliman Ndiaye with a second there. Also a second for Tom Cleverley's Watford against Plymouth. It looks like Plymouth's winless start to the season will continue under Wayne Rooney. Mileta Rajovic with his second of the evening to give Watford a 2-goal lead in that one at Vicarage Road. Certainly not a positive result for Plymouth, that would be, if it turns out to be that way. Right, back here at St Andrews, Raul Jimenez is back to his feet after receiving that treatment. He is okay to continue, it seems, and that's good to see. He's back on the field, so it's very good to see after he had previous with a big head injury that had him out for months when he was at Wolves. It's good to see that that head injury is nothing more than just impactful, or an impact, and nothing further deeper than that. There's another poor pass by Sander Berg. I think if Birmingham don't really start capitalising upon this, it will be missed chances galore for them, because Fulham are gifting them possession and opportunities at the moment. I think if they get one, Fulham could really struggle to hold them off. Well, here's Sessegnon to win it back though, but a third for Fulham would be a massive killer for the home side. That's why the next goal is so crucial in this one. Just over 30 minutes to go. Birmingham 0, Fulham 2. And it's still, albeit Fulham are leading, but in the balance, I would say, because Birmingham are still very much in this game. Another wasted pass, given away by Castagna this time. And now Pike plays it through to Anderson, who just loses his balance, and Anderson of the other side, Joachim Anderson, can recover it. I can't count, I don't think I can count on two hands how many times Fulham have just played a wasted loose pass, and Birmingham have been gifted the possession from it, and they've not capitalised upon it, the League One side. As Fulham do win a throw-in down the left, and seeing that, Chris Davies is going to make a double change, or triple change actually. The third player just showed himself at the last second there, so 3 changes incoming for Birmingham. Try and give them that more clinical edge, and to try and add what has been good quality football and turn it into goals. Alfie May is going to be coming off. Tyler Roberts is going to be coming on in his place. Emil Hansen is going to make way, and Koji Mayoshi is going to come on, and the third substitution is going to be for Keshi Anderson, and Ayumu Yokoyama has come on in his place. So triple substitution there for Birmingham at this moment in time. So I'll just confirm those changes for you then. May, Anderson and Hansen off. Mayoshi, Yokoyama and Roberts on for Birmingham. Trying to add a little bit more clinical finishing and final third threat to Birmingham's already good approach play this evening, because that could very much get them back into the game. Have you seen late drama before in cup competitions? It can happen. 2-0 is not a clear indication of the winner after 90 minutes. We've seen Huddersfield from 2-0 up back to 2-2. And speaking of that, I've just seen there's been another goal scored between League 2 Walsall and League 1 Huddersfield. I'll get to that in a moment because Fulham are coming forward here, and Jimenez tried to come around the corner. Cochran there to clear it away, and Birmingham now want a counter. Laird had his pass closed down really well by Sessegnon. I can tell you that it has gone from Huddersfield 2-0 up to now 3-2 down. Michael Hillick, his own goal, has turned it all around. It is Walsall 3, Huddersfield Town 2, and from an air of pure comfort and control in a game of football for Huddersfield, it has turned into an absolute, well, what phrase can I use? A shambles, in a sense, because it is from 2-0 up to 3-2 down in the matter of around 15 minutes. Crazy collapse from Huddersfield. It looks like, unless they can conjure something back with 10, they might be heading out. A second goal at Sellers Park that will be giving Oliver Glasner and those home Crystal Palace fans a bit more comfort now, because they have doubled their lead against Championship Norwich City. Daichi Kamada gave them the lead after just 2 minutes in the first half, and with around in the 57th minute this time, the man who set up the first goal was set up by the goal scorer for the first, Jean-Philippe Mateta, who set up the first, who scored the second, and he was set up, as I said, by the goal scorer of the first. So Kamada and Mateta involved again. Mateta the finisher this time, and it is Crystal Palace 2, Norwich City 0. Corner for Birmingham here on the left hand side. Chance to really offer something. Leonard with a cross, right footed to the back post, bouncing around in the box, but Fulham can clear it away and come away with it does Kearney. Down the line it goes to Castagna. Tries to get past Pike and runs into trouble, but he's going to get the free kick here, Castagna. The referee took his time in giving that decision, but the decision does go the way of the visitors. It's a bit soft for me. A bit soft, in my opinion. Right. Fulham are going to make a change. Josh King is going to come on and Sander Berg is going to come off. So a swap there for Fulham. Try and see them over the line. We have more to tell you about from around the grounds. Blackburn against Blackpool. That was a game I didn't get to earlier on. Jake Beasley had levelled for Blackpool against Blackburn, but now Blackpool lead. Hayden Coulson with the second goal for Blackpool have turned that one around from Blackburn leading at Rovers now trail. It is Blackburn Rovers 1, Blackpool 2, and it's an awful defensive error. I've just seen the goal and that's so avoidable, it's quite embarrassing from a Blackburn Rovers point of view, but the Tangerines are loving it there at Ewood Park. It is Blackburn 1, Blackpool 2. Elsewhere, Fleetwood had thought they'd made it 3-1. It's still 2-1 to Fleetwood, so still a narrow lead they have over Rotherham in that one. Sheffield Wednesday have added a fourth to their lead. Callum Patterson with his second to give it for 4 for Sheffield Wednesday. Is another cross from Birmingham, came close there. Castagna to clear it away, but Laird involved, and Birmingham still pushing, very much so, in this one this evening. I do believe if they get one, this will be an absolute kind of a dreaded last 25 minutes from a Fulham point of view. The last thing you want to do is give away a goal here and really ignite that belief in the home crowd and the home team that they can conjure something up. And we could see, if that were to happen, two of our 4 semi-finalists from last year knocked out on the same night. That would be crazy. Seeing it here again, that's lovely play. And the cross from Laird was threatening into the 6-yard box, but Castagna was there to clear it away. From a Fulham point of view, but again, they're threatening and they're posing issues. The ball over the top. Anderson was trying to get on the end of that one. Joachim Anderson, that was, did get on the end of it, cleared it away. Balick, nice switch out to Laird, who couldn't take it under control. Disappointing that from Ethan Laird there. A third goal at Goodison to tell you about. It's not often Everton do score goals. Seems like when they do, certainly find a couple of them. They hadn't scored all season until tonight. All season. 2 league games they had failed to score, but they have scored 3 on the night tonight. It is a third for Everton, and they surely will be going through to the third round now. Not going to be dumped out at the first time of asking, and the similar theme against Doncaster. A much more comfortable victory it would be this time. It was 2-1 last season. It is looking to be 3-0, and the man who got his first ever Everton goal against Doncaster last season, Beto, has given Everton a third here this evening. Everton 3, Doncaster Rovers 0. Right, here we are. So there's not much jeopardy in any of our games this evening. Not many are particularly close. QPR Luton could be going to penalties. They play each other in 3 days' time. They certainly don't want penalties to add to their already desperate schedules, but QPR and Luton are going that way at the moment. That's the only game that is level at this moment in time. Every other game has a definitive winner at this moment. Leyton Orient of League One still leading against Championship Millwall by 1-0. Fleetwood still leading Rotherham by 2-1. Coventry still 1 up against Oxford at the moment. Blackpool leading Blackburn by 2-1. Apologies. Barrow Derby is still goalless. I had to correct myself. Barrow Derby is still goalless, and Barnsley leading Sheffield United by 1-0. So a couple of close ones, and 2 at the moment. 2 games that will be going to penalties as it stands. We'll keep you updated if anything changes. With just over 20 minutes to go here, Birmingham still showing positive signs, but the scoreline is what matters most, and at the moment Fulham still have that 2-goal cushion that will see them through to the third round, barring any late drama. And there's late drama that Birmingham would love to kind of conjure up, but if they can't find their finishing and their clinical edge, well, it looks to be a good night and goodbye for Birmingham. Although, to be honest, if they end up losing this one, what they can take from it is their performance against a Premier League side, to a side 2 divisions above them, to make a really good quality performance tonight, Birmingham, albeit losing 2-0 as it stands. They've definitely played really good football, really positive play, and one of the favourites to be going straight back up to the Championship. This positive performance, albeit if it ends in defeat, would certainly help them in their cause if they are to head straight back up to the Championship. Goals then around the grounds, more to come. Harrogate were beaten 8-0 in the second round last season. It might be getting closer to that at the moment, because they now trail by 5-0 against Championship Preston. Milutin Osmajic has got his hat-trick. He scored the third and the fourth, and he's just added a fifth to make it a hat-trick for him on the night, and 5 for Preston. Speaking of 3 goals, it is another 3, it seems, coming Brighton's way. Adam Webster has added a third to the Seagulls' lead this evening. It was 3-0 against Everton at Goodison on match day 1 of the Premier League. It was a 2-1 late winner against Manchester United, and it looks to be 3 wins out of 3 coming Brighton's way, albeit against Crawley Town, but 3 wins from 3 for Fabian Hertzler would be a massive, massive start to the new campaign for the Seagulls. 3-0 there, as Fulham have a corner left hand side, palms into the air by Allsop, back down into the box. Birmingham failing to clear their lines at the moment as Allsop does gather it eventually there. Didn't certainly ease too many few nerves there from those home fans, but did in the end gather the ball. And that's all that matters. I haven't updated you in the Champions League playoff round for quite a while because mainly there's nothing happened in that one. With around 15-20 minutes to go, 20 minutes or so to go in Austria this evening between RB Salzburg and Dynamo Kiev in the second leg of that playoff tie. They took the lead, the home side. They were already leading 2-0 from the first leg, 3-1 on aggregate now. They took that lead on the night through Adam Dagim before Vladislav Vanat levelled for Dynamo Kiev, but it's still 3-1 to the home side on the night, or on aggregate, 1-1 on the night. Unless, as I said, Dynamo Kiev win by 2 clear goals or even 3 clear goals, RB Salzburg will be going through automatically tonight. At the moment, it is still 1-1 on the night, 3-1 to the home side on aggregates. Also 0-0 in the other two Champions League playoff round games this evening. Sparta Prague and Young Boys will be heading through with those goalless draws as it stands there against Malmö and Galatasaray. Change for Birmingham. Alphonse Sampsted is coming on to replace Ethan Laird, who's been a very positive performer for Birmingham tonight. Ethan Laird, one of their key players, and he's making way with around less than 20 minutes to go. A big promotion push season to come for Birmingham, and with a slim chance of coming back in this one now. They're going to make a few changes to swap out a few big players. Well, it won't stop them in their tracks in trying to push back into this game, no doubt about that one. As the ball goes all the way back to the Fulham keeper in Benda. Flicked it forward to Jimenez, who was coming back from an offside position there. Raul Jimenez, and that comes to nothing. Fourth goal at the Amex Stadium. Brighton making it even better for them. Mark O'Mahony, who actually came on in the 9th minute for Matt O'Reilly, who made his debut tonight at a 9-minute cameo in his debut game after going off injured, sees his night curtailed, but the man who replaced him has got the fourth for Brighton tonight. Third coming Palace's way as well. 3-0 to Crystal Palace against Championship Norwich. They're heading through, and it is the man that scored the second has added the third, Jean-Philippe Mateta, who's got 2 goals and an assist this evening for Palace's main striker. Of course, Eddie Nketiah could be heading to Palace, could be heading from North London to South London after a deal was agreed for Eddie Nketiah between Arsenal and Palace earlier this afternoon. But it looks like Jean-Philippe Mateta wants to make sure that Oliver Glasner knows he's still delivering up front for Palace. He's got 2 goals and an assist tonight for Palace. Right. Still, same scorelines in our close games this evening. The 2 draws as it stands. Barrow and Derby still goalless, and 1-1 between QPR and Luton, both into added time. So we'll confirm if they're level after 90 minutes. Penalties will be needed. No extra time, straight to penalties. We'll confirm when those shootouts are coming if there is no change in the scorelines late on. Right, 15 to go here at St Andrews. Birmingham 0, Fulham 2. And barring any late drama, it'll look like last season's semi-finalists will be heading through to the third round. Of course, the draw of which is tomorrow. You can watch live on LFS after the final whistle, but in our old Premier League tie between Forest and Newcastle at the City Ground tomorrow evening. So Fulham put that one out. Josh King there involved, and Birmingham get the throw. Fulham are going to make a double change in a moment. We'll get to that when it happens, as Wilson finds Kearney, who's taken out there. Was Tom Kearney. Free kick to Fulham. Starting to take more control now, Fulham. Just to see this one out, although I've given it away cheaply there again, as Stansfield tracks back well to keep Fulham without any stress at the back. Here's Kearney. Couldn't squeeze that through the tight angle, but the referee's going to pull it back for a free kick and a foul on the Fulham captain. Fourth goal at the King Power Stadium for the Premier League side Leicester. Harry Winks adding his name to the score sheet tonight against League 2 Tranmere Rovers. Looks like the Premier League side heading through. At the moment, it seems like not a single Premier League side will be heading out, all with at least a 2-goal advantage in their games. Brighton 4-0 up, Everton 3-0 up. Here, Fulham 2-0 up, Leicester 4-0 up, and Palace 3-0 up. Looks like all 5 Premier League sides involved this evening are heading through. As it stands, though, that is. You never know. 13 minutes or so to go, and Fulham are going to make that double change then, as I mentioned. Alex Iwobi is going to be one of those coming on. And Jay Stansfield will be coming off. And Tom Kearney. So Stansfield and Kearney off. Alex Iwobi coming on. And who else is that? That was Sasa Lukic as well. Stansfield gets a roaring applause. Of course, was on loan at Birmingham last season. So he's going to be coming on. Alex Iwobi is coming on in his place, and Kearney replaced by Lukic. So changes there for the visitors. A red card at the Amex as well to make matters even worse for Crawley Town. They find themselves 4-0 down. They've also gone down to 10 men as well. Jack Rolls with a straight red card in added time sees Brighton cruising and Crawley dumped out. All but dumped out tonight. But no shame in that. Premier League Brighton off to a very good start to the season, and that's it continuing this evening. Crawley, no room to try and manoeuvre around Brighton this evening. Heading to penalties between Barrow and Derby, one of our selected fixtures tonight, still went all the way through 90 minutes without a single goal in the tie. And it looks like penalties will be needed to separate the two this evening. Here's Birmingham trying to come forward. Maybe if they do get a goal, it would certainly leave us with a grandstand finish, but how often does that come around? Here's Yokoyama. Back to Cochrane. Now Bielik. Trying their best, Birmingham, but they've tried their best all night. They have, and they've just given the ball away again there cheaply. Ball won back by King. Fulham. Lukic. That's a loose ball again, given away. And Birmingham breaking down the right-hand side. Not much room to manoeuvre there. Down the flank for Miyoshi. Has to come backwards. All the way out to Cochrane. 10 minutes to go. Here at St Andrews. Also going to penalties at Loftus Road at QPR and Luton. 1-1 draw after 90 minutes, and we'll be heading to penalties. So 2 games heading to penalties. Games have come to a conclusion elsewhere. Everton have secured victory for the first time this season. 3-0 winners against Doncaster. Coventry have edged out Oxford once again by just 1 goal in that all-championship tie. That's finished. Fleetwood have seen their way past Rotherham 2-1 this evening. In that one, Grimsby beaten 5-1 in the end. They were leading Sheffield Wednesday, but ended up 5-1 losers in that one. League 2 against Championship. Preston 5-0 winners away at League 2. Harrogate as well in that one. Sees Harrogate knocked out. Bolton beat Shrewsbury, and a big shock at the moment is Fulham messing about at the back here. Williamson, get to that moment, that score in a moment, as Williamson here Left-footed cross into the box. Away by Castagna. Follow up the shot from distance is blocked. Again, Fulham certainly not giving anybody confidence that they'll see this one out. As I said, finished between Walsall and Huddersfield. That big upset. League 2 Walsall, who were 2-0 down against Huddersfield, came back to win 3-2. What a wonderful 15 minutes or so for them. And Walsall have knocked out Huddersfield. Watford have got a comfortable home victory against Plymouth. 2-0 winners there. Leicester, the Premier League, winning by 4-0. Brighton winning by 4-0 as well in their tie at the moment. So that's all come to a conclusion as well. So games coming to a close this evening. Sides booking their place into the third round. Of course, as I said, the draw you can listen to and watch live here tomorrow on LFS after our other 7 ties that will be getting underway tomorrow evening here in LFS. Here's Yokoyama, and plays it off to Jukovic, who looked to cross it but put far too much on that one, and it goes out for a throw into Fulham on the far side. Right. One key scoreline right at the very top of our selected fixtures. Barnsley against Sheffield United. Sheffield United, who knocked out Wrexham of League One in the first round, could be on the end of a League One defeat against the League One side tonight. Barnsley 1-0 against Sheffield United. They've been pushing for that equaliser, the visitors, but nothing to show for it just yet. It is still 1-0 to the home side, and with literal, what I would say, about 30 seconds to go, it's now or never for the Blades. Otherwise they could be heading home and heading out of the competition. At Barnsley 1, Sheffield United 0. Still playing though, by the way. It's not a final score just yet. Allsop here for Birmingham. The penalty shootout, by the way, is underway between Barrow and Derby. We'll give you the final score from that one. Here comes Yokoyama down the left-hand side for Birmingham. Looks to lift it across. Anderson was involved to head it away, and fully cleared away this time. Only as far as Leonard, though. Does Birmingham try and manoeuvre something late on here? Cochrane. The crowd believe. Can the players deliver? Here's Roberts, who looks to cross. Will take a deflection. Will be a corner from Roberts' cross. This is certainly getting exciting then. Certainly. Albeit still 2-0 to Fulham, but Birmingham are really pushing. You never know. 9 corners for Birmingham this evening. Fulham just 3. Leonard with a right-footed delivery. Back post again. Headed away by Fulham. The cross wanted to come back in. Calls a handball. Will be another corner to Birmingham. The crowd were adamant it was handball, but the referee just said corner. I think it was Jimenez that the ball came off, but corner indeed. It's a good moment for Birmingham. Good bit of momentum. Another cross comes in. Castagna with a header at the front post. Still alive is Leonard with a shot. And the header from the centre-back Jorge Cuenca is gathered ultimately by Stephen Benda. And that moment comes to an end for Birmingham. Ultimately. As of all of their promising attacks tonight, just come to an end without anything to show for it, Birmingham. And they've had shots, they've had chances, they've had quality tonight, but one thing they haven't had is that real clinical edge. And here come Fulham up the other end. What would finish it now? Harry Wilson has hit it well wide. One of only 9 touches from Fulham inside the box tonight, and that one is one to be forgotten for Harry Wilson. And that's really poor. No accuracy whatsoever from Harry Wilson on that one, as Fulham make another double change. The final 2 changes of the game, and the man who was heavily involved at the weekends. Emil Smith-Rowe, their record signing, is going to make way. Is going to be coming on, for Harrison Reid. He's going to make way, and it looks like Harry Wilson's going to be coming off as well here in a moment, because Adama Traore's waiting on the sidelines. So it will be Harry Wilson and Harrison Reid, replaced by Adama Traore and Emil Smith-Rowe. Just a couple of minutes for them to see this one out. Nothing more than that. Not like Fulham need anything off them really later on, just to see this result out. Final score between Barnsley and Sheffield United. The Blades are out after their big win in the first round. It wasn't any further than the second round they were going to get past this time round. Sheffield United knocked out by Barnsley of League One, and Championship Sheffield United are sent packing this evening. That League One revenge from the first round. Just a big up cup sets, and we'll round up all the final scores. By the way, stay with us from the final whistle. We'll round up all of the 18 scores from tonight's ties in the Carabao Cup for you a bit later on, when that comes for you, of course. The final whistle's gone between Blackburn and Blackpool. Blackpool have turned it around against Rovers. Rovers had cruised the victory against Stockport County in the first round, 6-1 winners away from home, beaten at home themselves by Blackpool, 2-1 there, the final score. So another final result coming in there. Penalties still underway in those other two games that are underway. They're the only 7:45 still going in terms of penalties. The 8 o'clock kickoff between Crystal Palace and Norwich, along with this one, is also still going on at this late stage. And I think I can bring you a final result from the game between Barrow and Derby. Now remember, Barrow of League 2, they had to come and face Port Vale in the first round. They had a tough second half. They saw it through to win 3-2 in the first round. They got to the second round, had another home tie, needed their home crowd tonight, finished 0-0 after 90 minutes, and it is finished after penalties. Barrow of League 2 knocking out Championship Derby by 3 penalties to 2. Incredible night for Barrow. Into the third round for League 2 Barrow. Wonderful for them tonight. Final whistle in the penalty shootout between QPR and Luton. 1-1 after 90 minutes, and it is finished a win for the home side. QPR have seen it through. 4-1 winners and penalties. Luton, not a great start to the campaign domestically for them, and they're now out of the cup to boot. It is 4-1 they have lost on penalties. Right. It's all happening elsewhere. And we have another goal to say about from Sellers Park as well. Like their Premier League rivals, Brighton and Leicester, who were at home tonight, Crystal Palace have added a fourth against Norwich. We haven't got a goal scorer for that one yet, but it is 4-0 to Crystal Palace, and there are no doubts they're going through to the third round. Birmingham have a corner here, right hand side, last minute of the 90. Is there a chance? Nice cross to the back post, up into the air. It's still alive in the boxes. Anderson boots clear. Yokoyama looks to deliver it back in as it comes across the box, and easily gathered in the end by Stephen Penda, but certainly didn't make it easy, the centre-back Cuenca, as we have 7 added minutes. Goodness me, 7 added minutes at the end of the 90 here. Don't know where the referee's got 7 minutes out of, but he has. And we have to play 7 more minutes, so you never know. 7 minutes is more than enough time for anything to happen. Here's Cochrane. This is now or never for Birmingham. They just have to go for it. Hell for leather now. It's any sort of glimpse of hope of a chance. They have to make it happen, and they get a free kick here. Mark Leonard winning the free kick and a yellow card, going the way of the Fulham substitute Adama Traore, who's not long on the field. And free kick goes the way of Birmingham. Again, just a naive challenge for Adama Traore to make at this late stage. For Fulham are just trying to see this one out. Birmingham trying to create that chaos and drama and kind of lack of control in the game and make it more end-to-end, more open. They may have more of a chance. Though their attack comes to a pretty quick close as it will be. Tries to come up the other end for Fulham. Will be out to the left flank. Cuts it back, but straight to a Birmingham player. And I want to go up the other end of the field. 5.5 minutes to go. With 7 added. Jukovic just closed out there. Again, well blocked that time by Castagna, who's been very good all night. Considering a lot of Fulham players have been pretty poor in possession, I think Timothy Castagna has been a standout for Fulham tonight. Just consistently winning his battles, doing the simple things which some Fulham players haven't been doing all night, to be honest. Here's Adama Traore. Looking to arrive into the box, tiptoeing his way across, finds Iwobi. Back it comes to Castagna, now out wide again, it goes to Josh King. Now Castagna. Clock running out, 4.5 minutes now. If Birmingham are to conjure something up, need to move quick. Fulham, again, just trying to close this one out, control the ball. Run the clock down as much as they possibly can. Here is Castagna. Back to Iwobi. Jimenez. Traore back to Lukic. Right to the left-hand side it comes now. Sessegnon back to Lukic. That fourth goal from Crystal Palace was scored by Ebere Eze. So 4 goals for Palace, and looking to be heading through to the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup. Just around 2 minutes of normal time to go at Sellers Park there in that one. Here's Emile Smith-Rowe trying to swivel his way through. He wins a free kick. Again, the record signing for Fulham. Joined from Arsenal. And just gets that free kick off Christophe Clarer. Just a lazy left leg. Hung out there, and Smith-Rowe took that all day long and won the foul. Free kick for Fulham. Just over 2 minutes to go of the 7 added now. As I mentioned, at full time, don't forget we'll have all the results from around the grounds to confirm for you. Don't go anywhere for those. Free kick here. Left hand side. The shot hits the wall. And caught by Ryan Alsop. Good defending that from that free kick from Birmingham. Alsop sends one long, but that should be easily dealt with there by Fulham at the back. It should be, as Smith-Rowe does really well to adjust, but the pass is a bit wayward, but Fulham do really well to keep it. Here's Castagna. Now Adama Traore down the right hand side. Looking to drive into the box, up against Cochrane, beats past his man, gets to the byline, cuts it back for a tap in, but the flag was up against it's actually not offside, it was just maybe run out of pitch room there, Adama Traore, when he cut it back, maybe just crossed the byline. It did. It was a tap in, but the ball had already gone across the goal line, or the byline, so it didn't count. One more minute. Don't forget, as I mentioned, tomorrow night Nottingham Forest and Newcastle amongst the 7 ties. An All Premier League tie at the City Ground tomorrow 8 o'clock for you live in LFS. Followed by the third round draw as Birmingham through Williamson. Shot over the bar. It sums up Birmingham's night, that. They've had chances, but when they get them, they've just been really woeful at trying to finish them. No clinical edge from Birmingham tonight. They've been creating good chances, decent opportunities. But when you can't finish, you can really blame anyone but yourself for not getting through. We'll also have the final score from the Champions League playoff round games as well to come for you in a second or so, because the final whistle's about to go. Jimenez there, just overrun it. Goes out of play for a throw. But there's no time to take it, because that's the final whistle. Fulham, who probably weren't anywhere near their best tonight, but all that matters in cup football is that you find a way to get through. And that is what Marco Silva's side did this evening. A lucky penalty, probably some would say. A harsh handball against Alex Cochrane. But Raul Jimenez coolly finished it before the former Birmingham player, Jay Stansfield, scored to make it 2 for Fulham. What do they say about players on loan? Never fall in love with a loanee, because they will always come back to haunt you. And that's what Jay Stansfield has done against Birmingham tonight. The League One side held their own, gave themselves chances in the game, but that lack of clinical edge for Chris Davis' side really end up being their story of the night. Fulham find their way through again, not convincing, but all that matters is they're into the draw for the third round. Final score at St Andrews: League One Birmingham 0, Premier League Fulham 2. There we are, that's the final score from that one. The final score still to come, the final whistle still to come at Sellers Park, but there's no doubt which side will be going through there. Crystal Palace 4-0 up. Let's run you through all of tonight's scores then. For our 18 ties. In the 7:15 kickoff, it was a convincing victory for Stoke away at Middlesbrough. 5-0 winners. Stoke in that old championship tie. Middlesbrough absolutely pummeled at home for the first time this season. Barnsley caused an upset against a championship's Sheffield United, the League One side finding a way through. 1-0 winners at home. Max Waters with a goal in the second half, confirming that victory for the League One side. Barrow took Derby of the Championship, League 2 Barrow against Championship Derby, took them all the way to penalties and won in penalties. 3-2 winners on penalties were Barrow in that one. The only goalless draw of the night, and Barrow emerged victorious from the spot kicks. In a battle of two teams beginning with B, Blackburn Rovers cruised to victory in the first round, 6-1 winners away at Stockport, but they were beaten themselves at home. This evening they were leading by a goal to nil, but Blackpool came back in the second half to win by 2-1 to knock out the Championship side. Brighton needed no real help this evening. 3 wins from 3 to start the season for new manager Fabian Hürzeler under charge of Brighton. They cruised to victory by 4-0 against Crawley Town. Some were calling it somewhat of a derby beforehand. I don't think there's any question which way the spoils were going there. Brighton 4-0 winners. Coventry edged out Oxford just as they did in a league game a few weeks ago by 1 goal. A 1-0 winner tonight, Coventry. Brandon Thomas Asante with the only goal of the game to give Coventry the win, and Oxford knocked out at the second round. Everton knocking out familiar foes in the second round of the competition as Doncaster were their rivals again this evening. They were in the second round last season, and the similar result, Everton emerging victorious for the first time this season. Everton scoring and also getting a win. Irabunum, Njai and Beto the scorers there at Goodison. Fleetwood needed a comeback to beat Rotherham. Rotherham took the lead, but 2 goals from Ryan Graydon turned it around to give Fleetwood the victory. Grimsby also a foul of a comeback themselves. They were 1-0 up against Championship Sheffield Wednesday, but the League 2 side then went on to concede 5 goals without reply, and Sheffield Wednesday finding their way through to the third round, 5-1 winners. Another League Two side beaten by 5 at home, and this time it was Championship Preston that scored 4 in the first half against Harrogate, a Harrogate side who lost 8-0 at home last season in the second round. Well, they were 4-0 down before half time. It was only just the one goal in the second half that really took it away, but it was Militant Osmajic's hat-trick that sealed the deal for Preston on the night. A comfortable victory for Leicester at home as they beat Tranmere Rovers of League 2 by 4-0. Jordan Ayew with his first goal was a wonderful goal for Leicester to give them the lead. Mavadidi's penalty, Ndidi and Winks on the spot to give Leicester the 4-0 win. A win in the end, and another upset on the night as another Championship side were sent packing against League One opposition. Millwall at the Den were beaten 1-0 by Leyton Orient. The only goal came in the 14th minute from Daniel Agai to give Leyton Orient the lead, and the League One side went on to cruise it to victory. Millwall pushed for a leveller, but not to be found. Another penalty shootout needed between two Championship sides as QPR and Luton played out a 1-1 draw in 90 minutes, and it ended 4-1 after penalties to QPR, who head through to the third round. Luton, under Rob Edwards, knocked out once again. At Bolton were 2-0 winners away at Shrewsbury Town. 2 second half goals secured the victory for the Wanderers. Dion Charles and Jordi Osei Tutu got the victory over Shrewsbury Town, who actually needed penalties in the first round to get through. Another side who needed penalties in the first round, but came from behind 2-0 down, did League 2 Walsall against League 1 Huddersfield. Huddersfield took the lead, Josh Karoma, before they went down to 10 in the first half. They went 2-0 up after Nathan Lowe missed a penalty for Walsall, but he made up for it, scoring 2 goals all in the night before Michael Helix's own goal secured the victory for League 2 Walsall. Watford, another comfortable home victory for them. They've scored 7 goals in the tournament, but without conceding in the Cup so far. Mileta Rajovic with the 2 goals this evening to knock out Wayne Rooney's Plymouth in the second round. Birmingham were beaten 2-0 by Fulham, and Crystal Palace have beaten Norwich by 4-0. There we are. That's it from the second round this evening. Our winners this evening through to the third round are Stoke, Barnsley, Barrow, Blackpool, Brighton, Coventry, Everton, Fleetwood, Sheffield Wednesday, Preston, Leicester, Leyton Orient, QPR, Bolton, Walsall, Watford, Fulham and Crystal Palace. All 5 Premier League sides are through. There's another matchup of them to come tomorrow night. 8 Premier League sides involved tomorrow night, including an all Premier League tie at the City Ground between Nottingham Forest and Newcastle. Following that, the third round draw, a few stipulations, we'll tell you about that tomorrow night, along with 6 other ties, including Wolves facing Burnley, Ipswich heading to Wimbledon, Cardiff against Southampton, Brentford away to Colchester, Swansea welcome Wickham, West Ham Bournemouth and Forest Newcastle. Those are tomorrow night's ties in the Carabao Cup, and as I said, following that will be the third round draw. For the Champions League playoff round, to finish this off this evening, RB Salzburg do get through to the main round, knocking out Ukrainian side Dynamo Kyiv. It was 1-1 on the night, but the damage was done in the first leg. RB Salzburg winning by 2-0 in the first leg against Dynamo Kyiv, knocking them out. Young Boys also following suit. They won 1-0 on the night against Galatasaray. They head through to the main stage, and so do to Sparta Prague, who also find their place inside the 36 teams in the Champions League this year for the competition. They beat Malmö 2-0. That's it tonight. Tomorrow, 7 more ties, the draw as well. Lots more action to come. A couple of cup sets, but the Premier League sides are showing their dominance. Second round continues tomorrow night. For now, night.